it is time for you to become wealthier for longer. Because there is a massive difference between let's make some cash, let's make some quick income, some 100K, 50K, 250K, 500K months, versus let's build generational wealth. Welcome to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Jeanine. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. Money lovers, welcome back to another powerful episode of your all-time favorite podcast. I've received some genuine feedback about one of the last episodes about building generational wealth, not just for yourself, but also for your children. And I want to dive a little bit deeper and share some insights about my new program that's coming out, Wealthier for Longer. If you're new to my world, there is this 3-step approach I always share when it comes to creating wealth. And that is, first, you have to learn how to make more money. Second, you have to master how to keep the money. And third and lastly, you have to be able to multiply your money, create your own economy. That is not so much investing. It is really creating your own economy, meaning whenever money enters your economy, your life, it creates more, it multiplies. So I deeply believe that, and this really changed since I've been married, and my husband is very family focused, like his own family, my family, the relationship between our families, obviously our own family, it is super important to him. So the conversations we had about money have been very different versus it was me in the beginning. Obviously, I focused on how to make more money. I shared a lot about how I was making more and more money. Shared a lot on what I spent my money, mostly luxury items, 5-star hotels, private jets, suites, luxury designer clothes, diamonds, etc. You name it. And this is super fun in the beginning if you've never had access to big money and to spend it on beautiful things. It is a cool, fun thing to do. And I always say the first million you make is definitely just to spend it on fun things. And it reached this point for me where I felt like, okay, there's something more. I desire something else. And I named this, and I see this very often. And that's why I'm focusing on this topic so much lately, is I see a lot of people making more and more money, but then you still spend it on all the things. And it kind of feels like you're just a rich broke. At the end of the month, it's still not in your bank account what you desire to have. And if you actually would contemplate, you don't have an income issue, because I always say this, if you would check in how much money you made last year or 2 years ago, wouldn't you agree currently you're making more money? But if you check your bank account, your assets, like the wealth you've created, that's at zero, or maybe not at zero, but that's not where you want it to be. So it feels like, yes, more money is coming in, but it still has this frequency of kind of starting from zero, starting from scratch every single month. And that's why I always say you are not looking for financial freedom, but you're looking for financial peace, because freedom means I'm doing all the things I truly desire. And there's always, for me, in freedom is a high risk involved, versus financial peace. It's a low risk involved. It's just you being grounded with money, having money really nurturing you. So this is something I always want you to understand, this big difference between the two frequencies. So what happened was, for us, we were talking really about how we want to create generational wealth. So our children one day don't have to start at zero like Edward and I had to financially. It's not that we receive any money from our parents to start with. So we thought, how cool would it be to have a family foundation, which obviously now is ours, but will become the foundation of our children. So they don't financially have to start at zero. And I want to share this. Can you see how this becomes a very different conversation now than, oh, let me buy the newest Dior skirt. Let me get that private jet. I fully understand it's never an either or. But first, my first priority, and that has shifted. It was not my first priority in the beginning was having a luxury lifestyle versus now building true generational wealth. And that's why I feel many of the conversations I see happening in the social media, in the coaching scene, it's all about, oh, see how much quick money, fast money I made. Yes, it's possible. It has to be because the money is available. But for me, what's more interesting, how are you using this money and how are you multiplying it? And that is something most people don't know how to do because you've never taught and no one has ever lifted that conversation. It is the same like people on the stock exchange. You know, the average person just buys shares, invests, or buys the ETFs, whatever, you know, the mainstream media tells them to do. And as long as things are growing in value, like they make money. But the true people that know what's going on, they also make a shitload of money and even more money when the stock is going down. That's why we have short selling and long selling. Most people, average people, don't know what short selling is or don't use it and master it. And this is the same true here. The true wealthy people, not the rich. There's a difference between wealthy versus rich. Rich is for me, let's get quick money and spend it and blow it out. But the true wealthy people, they've created economies in which the money is stored, stewarded, and passed on from generation to generation. And we see this. And there's a lot of hate in mainstream media when, big family foundations are just being passed on from generation to generation. But for me, I always found this inspirational looking there. How are they able to steward money and wealth for such a long time and multiply it? And isn't this something that's truly exciting for you, especially if you are a mother? How can you set this up? And this is something we are doing in my new program, Wealthier for Longer. It is really about step number 2, how to have more money, how to hold more money, how to start setting up your own economies in which money stays longer. And I'm sharing literally everything I do myself. And if you were in the webinar with me or the masterclass, Your Money is Yours, I shared why every Friday I have a money date. I take my money out. I never have more than $5,000 in cash in the bank. I have jars. I do something with the money so it multiplies. And it for sure doesn't multiply if it's in cash in my bank account. This is my point of view. And something very wild happened when we started implementing this approach, that literally after the first, at the end of the second month, our income, our wealth skyrocketed. And every month this happens over and over and over again. And it is so powerful to have a wealth plan, to see where your money goes, what you're doing with it, or what you're not doing with it. And it is really, it's a game changer. It creates such a loving relationship with money. And this is when we start tapping into the frequencies of financial overflow, of really receiving money. Because I deeply believe if we have a reason that is beneficial for us and the world, more money comes to us. For me, it is really if the universe sees how I am a steward of the money, the wealth I receive, how I use it, how I multiply it, I receive more of it. And I can't wait to share all of this with you. And don't misunderstand me. It is not an either or. You can become wealthier and you become rich at the same time. But when we have a plan for true wealth, for long-lasting wealth, we see money different. we don't just blow it on the things. The 5-star hotels, the private jets, the helicopter rides, the shopping trips, the diamonds, the Michelin star restaurants, the champagne bottles. Because for me, it's like I can use this money right now to support my vision of a family foundation, of having more assets that actually generate cash for me. This is for me passive income. It's not in the online space world, because for me, there's no passive income. I always, for instance, need customer support. I always have to update my products. There's always something attached to it. There's, for me, no true passive income in a high quality. Let's put it like that. The moment I care about my customers, the moment I value my customers, there's no such thing as passive income. Why? There always has to be customer support, and that is never free. However, there are other investment vehicles I can use to create that. And that is something which is very cool, because now every month I'm not kind of starting at zero. Now my business already has multiple streams of income which generate money for me. And this is what I said. It's so beautiful. We are at a point where every month already 100, 110K every month growing is coming in from multiple streams of income that are not related to my business. But this has to be set up. This has to be created. And the first part for that is really being able to have more money, to keep it inside your economy, to create your own economy in which money multiplies and is not leaving your economy. And if you feel like this is your vibe, this is something like who I'm really ready for a next level wealth conversation, or maybe even the first time you're truly considering setting yourself up for wealth and long-term financial success, Wealthier for Longer is for you. I will be sharing more insights on my Instagram and in the newsletter about the program. I just can share with you, this has been the biggest gift, self-love gift I could give myself, my relationship, and my family. Setting up a true wealth plan, knowing we always have more than enough money. We already see what's coming in. Like, I already know what's coming in every single month, and not from before. It was like, oh, I know I can manifest anything and everything. So it's also coming in. But I'm at a point where I really see the tangible assets, and I have the tangible plan of what's coming in and the how. And it's not only based on manifestation, which works. However, at the moment, I value something else. And it's never right or wrong. If you've been in my world, it is all about what I value at this point in time. And at this point in time, I value to create true wealth. And back in the past, I desired to be rich and just manifest the money in the moment. Both worked out. Neither way is better nor worse. It is simply what I valued. And this is what I want you to contemplate for yourself. What is it that you value right now? How to create wealth and money in your life, in your world, for you and your family. I love you. You've got this. And I truly hope I will see you in Wealthier for Longer. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. I've got 3 very important announcements for you. First, if you like what you're listening, make sure you leave some gratitude, leave a review, share the podcast. Second, if you love what you're listening to and you want more of that, there is a VIP version available. That means you will have access to 3 podcast episodes every single week. Simply check out the store, courses.richandhappiness.com, or the link in the show notes. And lastly, there are always monthly money activations happening around the new moon and full moon. If that is something you're interested, check out the store for the next money activation. I love you, and I can't wait to see your beautiful face soon again.